Goodgame.
Game development studio Treyarch has been around for over a decade and are best known for their work on the Spider-Man games and Call of Duty World at War.
A few years ago, they turned all their attention towards developing the next Call of Duty game, Black Ops. We recently took a tour of their studios to see how they do things and how the game is progressing. So this is Treyarch.
This I have to see.
This is top secret here.
Okay, blacked out.
Dan here's working on top secret situation, so we're not gonna we're not gonna tell you exactly what he's working on. When we're in pre-production, we really immersed ourselves into the whole era, and we have plenty of propaganda from both sides littered all over the place to really just immerse ourselves into the subject matter. This is our sixth game of this generation of hardware, and it's our third Call of Duty game in this generation of hardware. We made the decision after World at War to just consolidate our focus on creating Call of Duty games and focusing all of our expertise and all of our developers on this game. We have all that going into it, and so frankly at this point what we worry about is creating compelling game designs. We don't concern ourselves too much with the technicals.
Call of Duty is a long franchise. It's got a lot of entries and a lot of great games, and we wanted to provide the players something fresh and new that they haven't seen before. So we wanted to tackle an era, you know, not World War II, not modern. It's something that hasn't been seen, which was the Cold War era.
Ready when you are.
Nice to meet you.
This is Adam.
Adam.
Very good, you know?
Adam is our cinematics lead, and as I was telling you about doing the performance capture and the level of realism that we can get.
Look like shit, Woods.
There's some count for shit in the jungle. Snob, baby.
So one thing that we're trying to do differently on this title is we're trying to bring more realism and more character to our characters. We want them to emote their emotion better. We want you to connect with them better. We want you to kind of feel what they're experiencing on a more personal level. We want you to connect with their eyes, if you will. So what we've done now is we've taken up a process or a technique called full performance capture. So that means we capture your face, your body, and your audio, like your voice speaking at the same time. So what that does is it helps us have a more natural conversation. Even me talking around with my body language, it comes through very naturally. My breaths, my pauses, all that.
Back in '64, the CIA gave up control of covert operations in Southeast Asia, handed it over to the U.S. military. From that, McAfee SOG was born.
We have a story. In pre-production, we start by making our story, and then we need to create gameplay that supports our story.
Anybody in the studio could write an idea down on a card. Anybody. It didn't matter whether you were day one hire or you've been here for, you know, the last 10 years. And these cards were, and you had to put it up in a public place.
We're in full power. You ready?
Then they were collected by the leads and they were reviewed. And the ones that we felt like, hey, this is something that is actionable and we feel like we could execute on and that we'd like to execute on, release the resources to be able to put together a small sort of strike team, if you will. And we would work on creating whatever it was, you know, whether it was, hey, I want to be able to do a high altitude diving mechanic, or I want to do a controllable helicopter.
Take that bridge out. Nice work.
The first time where we've had a dedicated multiplayer team working on a project since day one. Previously we've had to sort of do multiplayer second to single player, so now they've been developed in parallel since the start.
No one fights alone, Mason.
And that's allowed us, and that's afforded us the opportunity to do some really great things. We're not ready to do a full reveal of our MP just yet. There's just so much that I want to tell you about, but we just can't. But I can tease you with, we're putting a strong focus this year on player customization and personalization, as well as player socialization. If you think about Create a Class as one example, that's something that's been in Call of Duty for a while now, and it's been completely overhauled for Black Ops. And that played really well into the Black Ops theme, because before any mission they would oftentimes modify their weapons and saw off a shotgun or any sort of modification the weapon needed. They could even pack their own ammo and have custom ammo types and stuff. So, you know, this is the kind of stuff that we look at and think about incorporating into a game.
Bam! Kick as hard as you can, right down across the shin, into the eyes, onto the neck, into the groin.
My name is Hank Keirsey. I'm the military advisor for Call of Duty.
Don't try this at home. Do not try this at home. Do not
I'm able to come in at various stages of production and look at what they're doing through the eyes of a soldier. They've done the research, they've watched all the movies, they've read the books, and so they're ready in that respect, but they haven't served 24 years in the military. And so I'm able to talk to them a little bit about how weapons should be held, how you might go around the corner, how you would operate with tanks in the street, how you would call for indirect fire, where and what situation you'd use a machine gun or a support by fire position or a maneuver position, and give them the last little polish to the great machine before it rolls off the assembly line.
One of the things we did learn from them was that they train a lot of things like to potentially be one-handed if they got a hand removed in battle. So, stick it in their belt, putting a clip in, they would still be able to rechamber the weapon.
Show me that again. Okay.
There you go.
That's a lot harder than it looks. I've got to stop embarrassing myself and give it back to you.
One of the things that always disturbed me, you'd go through in the early games is the muzzle control of guys. So you're sitting there and you're talking to a guy and you walk to talk to him, and as you talk to him, your Thompson submachine gun is pointed dead at his chest. That always bothered me. Nobody's ever quite got that muzzle control. Your muzzle should go down or up as you pass the plane of another human. I just think we still fix that. But that's something that always gave me the willies in the first game, like, God, this guy's pointing his weapon right at me. I feel like going over and slapping him.
So, this is our characters team here, and this is On, and this is Ludwig, and this is where we create some of the richly detailed characters that you see in Call of Duty. So this is a real person. This is our Soviet Spetsnaz advisor who came to visit us, Sonny Kusikas, and that is him. He makes an appearance in the game, and actually we have an AI modeled after some techniques that he showed.
He taught us this tactic called getting off the X in particular. And getting off the X basically said, as soon as a Soviet Spetsnaz saw a muzzle pointed at them, they would weave, they would dodge, and they would immediately get out of the line of that barrel. So if the enemy pulled the trigger, the bullet would miss them.
So this one here is Sonny, and he's our Soviet Spetsnaz, and he's showing us how he'll train and do movement. This here is a Hollywood stuntman trying to do the same movement. Oops. Oh.
This is our Spetsnaz that you can actually fight against. Right. So you can see right away.
Wow. It must be fun creating like just working with the different AI in this, a whole different way of fighting, right?
Our AI is going to do a lot of thinking and actually decide whether or not to get off the X and move out of the way and not be killed.
You want to try?
Making them more.
Can I?
Can I? Do you mind?
Sure. Go for
it.
it.
Let me
do my ducking roll.
That level of movement, that those acrobatics, that's completely inspired by talking with a black operations soldier of that era. When you are going to and expected to perform at the level that you have to perform to create these games, you just, sky is the limit. And so when we're done with this, Activision's going to have to rip this out of our hands. We're not going to be done, if you know what I mean. And so that's okay, because we're just going to keep making aggressively supporting it post-launch. But that's just kind of our mindset. So yeah, no, we haven't creatively reached our peak. No way.